what is the strategy? Are you trying to drive awareness of your brand? Are you trying to drive trial, meaning people to purchase your product? Like, you got to understand what it is that what's your goal and what your strategy is, and then you figure out how you can go ahead and do that.
It's that time again, my friends, for another episode of The Yogi Show. Today we are dropping a fun episode we have nicknamed the Brochacho episode with Mr. Corey Saenz. Yogi Bryan and I met Corey via Instagram as a loyal follower of Namaste AF and of Yogi memes who loved commenting on our posts and sharing badass pictures with us of him doing killer yoga poses on the hills of Orange County. These days we recognize Corey as one of our heroes. He's a yoga dad, a brand guru, a marketing genius, an inspirational leader, and is funny as shit. Truth be told, without Corey, there's a 99% chance the Yogi Show podcast would have never been born. You'll hear all about it in this episode and how it all began. Corey also shares some personal insights with us on how yoga took him at a later stage of his life deep down the rabbit hole, and how yoga truly helped him leave the corporate world and gave him the confidence to go all in on himself as an entrepreneur. It's never too late, my friends, to make a change. If you're hearing this message right now and you need to switch some things up in your daily life or your routine, find just one thing that you can switch today that can help you make that shift. You just got to start. Do something to start to move the needle. Allow this to be the invitation. Since Corey is like a brand guru, and I mentioned that earlier, it's only fitting that we are officially launching the merch section on theyogishow.com this week. This is one of the ways you can truly help support the podcast by grabbing some merch such as stickers, t-shirts, tank tops, and who knows what other gems may pop up in and out of the store as we go. Guess you'll have to head over to theyogishow.com to check it out. See all the goodies that are available while you're listening. We appreciate your support. Podcasting has truly been a labor of love, and we really appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts. Another way to support the show is if you're not already subscribed or following the Yogi Show podcast, please take a second to do so now. It would mean the most. If you're loving the show and streaming on Apple, please review it. And please, 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 the most important way or the most positive way that you can share this is just by telling someone that you love, by telling Karen, hey, check this out, lighten it up a little bit. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, put it in your Instagram story, wherever it is that you share things, tell somebody. We appreciate it so much. With all that being said, thank you, and let's jump right to it with Mr. Corey Saenz. All right, welcome to the show, Mr. Corey Saenz. Thank you for being here, brother. How are you?
I am awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
Dude, I am so grateful that you're here. How are you, Karen Jacobs?
Karen is doing good. Today I'm Karen. Guys, I logged into Zencastr, our recording software, as Karen Jacobs. So changing my name. Some people have spiritual names. I have a Karen name, so...
I knew this podcast was going to be lit when I saw the name Karen.
Hurricane Karen just hit landfall today. Hopefully everybody's safe out there, but it's Karen. So dude, no one's safe.
I was just reading. Nobody's safe if Karen is out in the Atlantic Ocean. I just saw something that Karen storm might go up and do a loop and come towards Florida. You know, like they feed all the fears. All of the hurricanes are sponsored by Home Depot and Publix because that's, they get all the money from everyone that needs to buy shit.
Right.
She's making sure that you are not going to do your beach yoga, man.
No, yeah, like no beach yoga. Karen's like, we're not doing any beach yoga. Fuck your
Karen's
beach yoga.
Like,
Pedro.
nope.
Because there's no manager to complain to.
Holy shit, man! Holy shit. So, context for the listeners: Corey Saenz is we call him Guru Corey. He's amazing, and without Corey Saenz, I honestly don't think the Yogi Show podcast is happening if we never met Corey Bryan. What do you think about that?
If we didn't meet Corey, I don't think this podcast would happen. I mean, Corey's been
I don't think so.
A foundation.
No, seriously.
For us, a brochacho support.
Yeah.
Like seriously, since the inception of our friendship when we met on Instagram over a year ago, I think now.
Yeah.
Honestly, like you've inspired the shit out of me to like level up my game, to be a better dad, to be a better human. Yogi, I mean, it's all of the feels. So,
Nice.
before we get into like your background and who you are, just know that how grateful that Karen Jacobs and I are for you being here on the show and being part of our life. No joke.
Well, I had to
man.
make sure that you guys didn't embarrass yourself from a branding perspective.
Yeah, he's the brand guru too. We'll get into that too.
Yeah, Corey definitely helps out with the branding and helps us stay out of our fucking way.
I'm I'm proud of you guys. What came as an idea, you guys with, very little coaching, there's just so much value that the two of you guys are sharing with the world. And it's very cool for me to see this manifest.
Oh man, that means the most, dude. Seriously, thanks you.
Thanks, Corey.
We're having a bromance. This is the bromance episode. I think the title, if this title of the episode isn't bromance, we should have changed it to bromance.
It's going to be bromance. And bromances are 100% okay out there. Everybody that's listening, and if you got a bromance, you got a brochacho-mance, fucking embrace that shit.
It's good for the soul, man.
Good for the soul.
It is, man. So, Corey.
Yes.
Tell the listeners. So you're a yoga dad. We're all yoga dads, actually. All three of us. We're all yoga dads. But you haven't been a yoga dad like as long as we've been yoga dads. Like when did you? How long you been doing yoga? I honestly don't know the number.
4 years. I came to yoga very late in the game. I'm mid 50s. I didn't do teacher training. I'm probably one of your only guests that's not an instructor
yet.
I came to yoga. I was kind of begrudgingly dragged to my wife's yoga studio. I had the ill misconception that yoga was a bunch of hippie shit. And at the time when I was VP at Coca-Cola, I was traveling every week. And for years of travel, it fucked up my back. So
no doubt.
They didn't know what was wrong.
Planes.
Oh my God. They didn't know what was wrong with my back. I mean, I did MRIs, the whole bit. And my wife just said, you know what? You should just come to yoga with me. It's a cool little studio. I think that you'll enjoy it. And I felt embarrassed because I couldn't even touch my toes. I literally would put my mat in the far corner, hoping that nobody would come adjust me or see me or talk to me.
Right.
And I absolutely fell in love with it. And yoga has changed my life.
Yeah, I love that story, man. And that's so, and as a male, going to yoga late to the game, feeling stiff AF, not knowing about the spiritual hippie shit or the rabbit hole that you're about to encounter, super intimidating.
Very intimidating. And you know what? What has made it really special, and it's not for everybody, the little studio I go to is pretty small, but it's really zen. And it has allowed me to I get the exercise, but it has allowed me to tap into something deeper and connect with something on a more meaningful level that really has surprised the fuck out of me.
Yep.
And I got to give, a little shout out to my little yogi tribe that has kind of pulled it out of me. I mean, there's fucking chanting and essential oils and adjustment, and the whole vibe just really, it rocks my world, and I'm obsessed with it. It's like that hashtag yoga every damn day. I mean, that's me.
Yeah, twice a day.
I'm double dipping, yo.
Yeah, and you're upside down like fucking 90% of your life, man.
Like an inversion junkie, man.
You are the inversion junkie.
You're literally hashtag inversion junkie, Corey.
Well, it's funny. I run out with kind of a little bit of an older crowd, and they're seeing my stuff on Instagram. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how are you getting all shredded? And what is this yoga thing? And how has it changed you? So I've kind of got more into it, just sort of sharing it. Cause I think my friends, from what I'm hearing, they're either A, laughing at my ass, which I don't give a fuck, or
no,
B,
of course not.
Or B, they're being honest and they're wanting to know, how is this transforming you? Because you look good, you obviously seem very happy, and it really has had a meaningful, change in my life.
Absolutely, man. And that's the thing is the people that are kind of poking fun, that light joking laugh, Karen-ish. Those are the people that really deep down want to ask you on the side, dude, what are you doing? Because I want to be a part of it, but I'm so insecure. And I'm so I can't come out and say that, but that's really what they're thinking. You know what I mean? That's really how it is.
And my personality, I think why the three of us jive is, at the end of the day, I don't take myself really seriously. I enjoy life, and I was really sort of attracted to the snarky sort of sense of humor of like, hey, it's just fucking yoga at the end of the day. And when I first started, kind of new to Instagram, looking around all the yogi stuff, and I see this Namaste AF, I'm like, whoa, what is that? And I ordered a hat, and I kind of really got into it, and it sort of speaks to my soul. It's like at the end of the day, it means a lot to me, but I'm also the first one to poke fun at my own little Instagram posts of me being shirtless and fucking doing inversions
in the middle of a park on a Tuesday at 8 a.m.
Yeah. Giving the little moms a treat to see this half naked dude in the park. It's all good.
That's so good, man. That's awesome. I'm so happy right now. Seriously. I'm glad that you found yoga and that yoga found you and that you found us, because you found Bryan first. Yeah. You found Bryan.
Definitely.
Yeah, I remember you were commenting and liking the pics, and then you ordered a hat, and I'm like, fuck, this guy is cool. And then you took a picture of the hat, and then I found out what you actually did. I'm like, holy shit, like this guy's big time in marketing, and he likes my fucking hats. Like, what's up, Corey? And then just the bromance started from there, just commenting, and then I started following you, and then seeing your inversions and your practice, and then I get become friends with Pedro, and then we're like, man, this Corey guy's fucking.
I remember when I said that to you. I remember, Bryan, I messaged you and I was like, this guy Corey is always commenting on my shit, and like, do you know him? He's like, oh yeah, like he ordered a hat for me,
Well, the best is when we got together in LA.
In LA, man. Yeah. That was awesome. That's where the Yogi Show was born. The Yogi Show podcast.
Maybe. Yeah.
The podcast was literally born on the top of Runyon, Cannon Hills. What's it called, Corey? Runyon Park. Yeah. That's where. Do you remember that, Bryan? Walking up those steps, like that's where and walking down. That is where the Yogi Show podcast was literally born that morning.
We said, let's do it, because we had been throwing the idea around. The crazy thing is, Pedro, you and I were like doing calls sometimes here and there, just like throwing ideas back and forth. And then it just came up like the Yogi Show, like just joking around, like, oh, we'll do a Yogi Show. And then you're like, Yogi Someday, Show. Like, you just like, Yogi Show, that's it. Then we're like, we'll do it Instagram Live. And, just
it's amazing. Well, it's been amazing for me. If I think back a year ago, I'm into kind of like data analytics and looking at how people are building their brands and stuff. And the growth and the number of people that you have touched and your followers and how they've grown in a short period of time, like from a branding perspective, and a friendship is like, you guys are not a one-trick pony of just like doing the podcast and calling it a day. Like, I'm on your ass, like, man, there's a book in you guys.
I know.
There's this, there's that. Like, there's so much more runway for you guys to provide value to folks. And I have nothing but, extreme admiration for what you guys are doing.
Thank you, Corey. I remember when you told me, I think you told both of us that maybe a year ago. And guys, you heard it here first, that one day, I know Bryan is definitely writing a book, and I'm 99% sure that I'm writing a book. I don't know what the title of mine is yet. Bryan, what's the title of your book?
It's just fucking yoga.
Of course it is. But it's going to happen, it's like, and Corey, you've inspired me to put forth that effort into, it started as making memes, it was just innocent memes about whatever. And then it grows into other things like, other business ventures, and people start noticing that you actually, you don't just make memes, you actually like teach yoga. Like, I actually teach yoga too. Like, I can't make these yoga memes if I don't teach yoga. Like, how the fuck am I going to connect with it? And then it grows into, the Instagram Live and the stories and the now the podcast and all the ventures, man. And it's been rolling. And I really think book is coming down the road for me.
It is, man.
I'm curious to know what it's going to be, though.
Your guys' tentacles are already out there. And like literally 2 days ago, one of my instructors, Leslie, noticed one of the memes that you guys had featured me, kind of playfully made fun of my ass way back when. He was
I remember that.
He was like, holy shit, I'm like scrolling through and I see this, like, you guys have this loyal following. You kind of have these like disciples out there that they're living it. And
The diehards.
The diehards, and the value and the humor that you guys put out. It's just, it's fucking madness. I love it.
Corey, thank you. And I really appreciate that. I know Pedro appreciates it. And it's like, it really is, I don't know, with you coming in and just really helping us out and just being in that brochacho-ness. I mean, we're in group texts, all three of us. Like, I talk to you guys daily. We all throw ideas off each other, and it's really all about value and stuff.
Dude,
so it's like
more like hourly. I'm driving and ding. and ding, the little message on the car thing pops up, Pedro and then Brian, and then Pedro, then Brian.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, what the hell's going on with the brochachos now?
Yeah, my son's like, Noah, he's always like, hey, show Pedro this, show Corey this, like his yoga pose or whatever. It's like, it's fam. Yeah. It's fam.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about, segue that into like connection, right? And like meaningful connections is that if you're out there listening to this podcast and you're looking for a yoga tribe, right? Like, let's just say you do yoga at home and you don't really have anyone to like connect with. You don't go to a studio. So it's like, your friends don't do yoga. So it's like, who do you talk to about yoga? Like find, maybe you, like this happened organically, if you're in the same space of something that you like to be, like, let's say it's memes, or let's say it's like inspirational content, and you're commenting on pages, you will see the same people commenting on those pages too. Yes. You'll see the same people liking your comments. Send them a message. You know what I mean? Send them a message. Like, what's up? You're into this too? Who knows what comes of that? You'll never know. You'll never know. So just because you can't physically be in the presence of someone to make a connection. I live in South Florida. Corey lives in Orange County, California, and Brian lives in Phoenix. Okay, we don't even live anywhere near each other, and we're able to connect all the time because we put in that effort, we put in that energy, and it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So it's so true. There's Instagram, there's FaceTime, text, and all of it. And you can go meet up, a couple times a year, and you still have that connection. You still can throw ideas off, send memes back and forth, Yeah,
and have fun. You don't have to be next. Like, it's hard. Like, sometimes it's hard to make friends that are like-minded because like you don't physically go out with those people. You can find them on the internet. You know what I mean? You can be friends in real life, like we are, IRL in real life.
So the whole yoga kind of wellness space is really interesting for me, not only for my personal journey, kind of what I have gone through, but from a business perspective, because I do work with a lot of brands that are in the health and wellness space.
Yeah.
And, where a lot of brands are trying to go is, these micro influencers, people like you guys, man, that have, a good amount of following and that are putting authentic and organic content out. They're not force feeding a bunch of marketing bullshit. And really, that is such a huge thing that, brands are really sort of striving for. So I see the level of Instagram kind of changing in terms of, how people are really interfacing with brands. And so I'm always like, sort of examining and looking at that stuff. Plus, I love putting my shit up of me and another, fancy inversion. So what the hell?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And let me ask you this question. So going to inversions, and let's take it back to your first class and like how you grew it into your thing. Did, as a, let's call it brand guru, as what you do in marketing, now you're all in, like, it's you and Corey. Like, you're the president, the CEO, the boss, the everything, the secretary, the market. You're everything. How much of yoga had an impact on you, like going all in on yourself? Because that's what's gonna really add a lot of value to listeners. How much of that helped you, and like what parts do you use in your daily life off the mat?
So that's a great question. 100%, it has definitely affected me, and I think what it allowed me to do is really sort of trust my gut intuition much more. And I always kind of had this little nagging sort of voice on my shoulder, like, at some point you should go do your own thing. I
Yep.
worked in very large companies where I was probably spending more time at doing sort of the politics and leadership and things. And I really wasn't doing what was sparking joy for me, which is true marketing and working on brand strategy. And it just kind of, I had my aha moment that I think was channeled through yoga and me being sort of more in touch with myself.
Yes.
It kind of gave me the confidence, and the intuition to be like, this is my time. And I've been filled with gratitude because I, was pretty thoughtful. I didn't do just a fuck you, dear John letter,
Right.
and drop the keys at the door. I'm a big believer.
Karen would be pissed.
Yeah, I'm a big believer at the proper goodbyes. And for me to like walk away, from 30 years of being, quote, the corporate guy to truly starting my own thing was a big leap of faith. I'm also fortunate that I've got tremendous support from my wife, for like wanting to, make sure that my vision was kind of brought to life. And I kind of had this whole thing, and it is way taken off beyond my expectation. And back to your question, I attribute a lot of kind of the mindset that yoga has allowed me to kind of, go on this journey. It's I'm in better shape than I was in my 40s, thanks to yoga.
Right.
And I practice every day and I work hard, but it is like unopened this lotus flower and allowed me to peel back layers. My wife makes comments that I'm not an angry asshole all the time like I used to be, like a type A personality. Like I've gotten more patience. My family, they tease me endlessly about this, but it truly has like leveled me out in a lot of different ways, which again, I think one of the things that I was attracted to Brian's Namaste as fuck is my kind of thing right now is like zero fucks. Like I'm doing my thing and it's going well because I'm not concerned by all the other sort of noise that I'm pretty focused, and focus is really the key thing. And when I get on my mat, I don't think about all the other shit going on. It just allows me to focus, and it's provided a lot of clarity for me.
Right on.
That was a long ass answer.
No,
that's a great answer.
There's so much in that everybody out there that's listening to, it just goes back to my favorite quote ever is that practice yoga and it'll the rest of the universe will take care of itself. That, and it's just fucking yoga too.
Yeah.
I think that, so it's like my physical body kind of
is fucking jacked.
Ripped, man.
Ripped
AF.
It had benefits in the business side. But I think the most important thing, I take pride in me as being a marketer, but really is about me being a family man and a good husband.
Yes.
And I think what yoga has allowed me to tap into is kind of more patience and being present.
Yes.
When I worked at Coca-Cola and I was on the 24/7 hamster wheel, it's very difficult. I did give up a lot in missing kids' things due to travel and stuff. And where I'm at now is in a really good place because, I'm present. I'm making lunches for my kid, dropping him off to school every day. Like that kind of shit you don't get to do-overs on.
No, exactly. There's no second chance at that.
You're taking Instagram pictures of their desserts. I mean, their milkshakes are on the story.
Absolutely. So it's allowed me to, I guess, focus more on work-life balance. I'm always been a big proponent of that, but I'm really like, putting my money where my mouth is on
really practicing it.
Yeah, being able to dial it up.
Yeah, exactly. I think about that. I walk my daughter to the bus stop. Okay, so it's maybe let's call it a 10-minute round trip to go there, wait for the bus to come, walk back, and she could walk by herself. She's old enough, definitely, to walk by herself. But I had the thought today of like. I could just let her do that, but those 10 minutes that I take to walk with her are so meaningful to mine and her relationship that if I didn't do that, like I would be missing out. and that those days, those aren't forever. You don't get to keep doing that when they're 20 years old or 30. Like there's no more bus stop days after like high school or whatever. Like there's no more bus stop days.
Totally.
So taking the time with being present and not even like forget the phone and all that stuff. Just walk with my daughter to the bus stop, just me and her, and then get her on the bus, kiss and a hug, and then I'll see you in a little while. You know, like that goes such a long way for me. And that's like yoga. You know, that's yoga. The intention behind the action of like being present with what is that's yoga for me in these days. 100%.
I love it.
You know, that's how I feel. And then Brian, when you eat your donuts with
I was just thinking,
thing, you know,
I was just thinking
it's your
that.
little ritual. I love it, and I love when you guys text me pictures of that. Because you're much younger, you're much younger than me, and I think of you guys as little brothers, and your kids are definitely at a different stage.
Right.
So I enjoy seeing you guys as young dads trying to juggle all that shit because it's tough. It's definitely tough, but you know what? You guys you're fucking killing it, and I'm really proud of you for doing that.
The juggle is real. The
juggle
juggle is real. I just made that up.
You got to
put that on a shirt.
Trademark that right now.
We're putting that on a shirt.
We're gonna delete it off this podcast so no one else can. We're deleting it so no one else can hear it.
Yeah, I delete that shit.
I got a logo in my head already.
Send it, Corey. We'll have it ready for this episode for sure.
Yeah. By the time the episode comes, if you're hearing this right now, there may be a shirt on the website available that says "The Juggle Is Real."
I already have a couple famous people that are interested in it.
This is great. Man. This is organic and real, man. This is how this goes. Man. This is how this goes. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's like, you know, balancing the life as a dad and a parent, whatever, mom, dad, what doesn't matter, is challenging in these times. So much distraction is available at any moment. So being present in our children's lives is so key. And I guess, let me ask you this, Corey, how do you think, and Brian, this will go for you too, but Corey, you go first. How do you think we can get more dads, or maybe men, let's start with dads to get to the yoga mat? What do you think we could offer? Like, is there something that we could offer a listener right now that's, let's say, a spouse that's maybe a husband like you, like needs, like really could benefit from it, but has this wall? What do you think we could offer that piece of advice to get that person to the mat?
Well, I think definitely with the humor, it's very sort of male kind of driven. I mean, I think with that, I think kind of showcasing and having a little, not to get too marketing technical, but having a little brand strategy of coming up with ways to sort of connect with this consumer, to sort of break down the stigmatism. And a lot's changed. Like half the classes now are like all dudes, you know,
right?
That are there. They're pulling off their shirts. They don't give a fuck. They're there to have their connection on their mat. And and I think that's beautiful. And it's not just all young dudes. It's old dudes as well. So it's awesome. That. But having you guys as the voice and the vehicle to help make that sort of transition connection to them, I think it's really important.
Yeah, share this episode. This is a great episode. Like if you're listening right now and you have a yoga dad person in your life, or just a male in your life, anybody, a male in your life specifically that's like hesitant about like getting to the mat, like here's 3 guys that I never thought I didn't even know what yoga was,
right?
You know, for a long time. And that, and Corey, obviously you were a little resistant. Brian used to make fun of yoga. That's how he started his Instagram. So, I mean, think about that. Like, share this podcast with them. Like, it's not so serious. Lighten it up. There's 3 guys here that are here to support. Send me a DM. Send a message. Send an email. We will respond for sure.
Yeah.
You know? But Brian, what do you think?
I would say if there's any dudes out there that want to just put their socks on easier or touch their toes easier, like just fucking go to yoga, because that was like my big thing, that once I started doing yoga, I'm like, fuck, I can kind of balance on one foot and put my sock over the other foot, and I can breathe because my belly is like less, and I just don't feel like I'm fucking dying. It used to suck when I used to put my socks on pre-yoga. Like that was breaking out a sweat, trying to go to fucking work, trying to get these socks on. So if you're a dude out there and you just want to put your socks on better, you don't want anything else other than yoga is going to help you out. But
can I add on to that too? Is like,
please do.
For me, it started as a physical thing. Like I needed to sort of get in shape. And so I was there initially where your head's in like, am I holding the pose right? Like you're thinking about the physical act. And it's over time that sort of slowly you get into
You drop in.
the mindfulness aspect of it.
Yep.
And what I've been able to take away from the mat and apply it just to daily how to manage stress, it's just as valuable as the movement part. So it's interesting how it's kind of multi-layered, and it's just over time that you can't just think that you have to show up once and it's going to be all, magic and fucking unicorns.
Yeah, no.
You got to work at it, and
it's a practice.
It's a practice, and it's not going to be one day the light bulb goes off and it's like, oh shit, I'm really zen.
Right.
It's like you got to definitely work at it.
It's like that. It's like that thing. Hold on 1 second. It's like that thing you sent yesterday, Corey, about like this 30 minutes of work took 10 years of practice to get this perfect like 30-minute of like whatever it was. So it's like that saying of like all the practice builds up to that moment where like you have that big aha moment. You didn't just have the aha moment all of a sudden. Like you've been working on that aha moment for a number of practices or time, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I see so much consumer insights as it relates to brands where consumers are so overloaded with technology and everything else going on the world, that there's this thirst that brands are trying to connect with consumers to almost do a digital detox and going back and connecting with things that are real. And what better opportunity than like yoga,
Yep.
Yeah, it's...
The last thing that's been surprising is, during my 40s, I was very type A, kind of just go, trying to build a career and being sort of selfish. Mm-hmm. And I think the benefits of yoga has also allowed me to think beyond myself and my family. And I actually got involved in a couple of charities and thinking about the community.
Nice.
And just sort of, paying it back and actually being involved in organizations that have personal meaning to me. I'm not getting paid for it. It does take time. But, the feeling of like being able to give back, that's part of the work-life balance equation that I feel is that I'm pretty full and blessed as a result of doing that. And I'd rather do it being healthy because of yoga versus like, not being able to do that at all. So there's things that continue to surprise me about my practice that I kind of attribute and go back to the road that leads back to yoga as being the catalyst.
Yeah. Seva, it's that service. We talked about that in a previous episode with Brian Kest, about service and seva and doing things because one, they make you feel good. Mm-hmm. And two, it's because it's like, this is just the right thing to do. When I offer my time, I'm just offering my time. I'm not looking for anything in return. I'm offering my time as a being of service. And when you're in alignment with yourself and your core values, all of that just rolls out organically, without force. You're able to serve and feel really good about it without any expectation of return.
100% on point. And especially like people out there listening, especially if you're a dad and you haven't practiced yoga before, you might be interested. Maybe your spouse is making you listen to this. And maybe. I mean, and if you're listening to this, you haven't tried yoga, like there's something with yoga about moving your body and getting in these positions where even if you're just coming to your mat or coming to this place, this space, just for the physical aspects, which is going to help you physically. But if you just come for the physical, you're going to catch that little thing of peace, that little thing of like, dang, this feels really good. Like, I don't know what it is, because even in my meditation practice, I've been way more into meditation lately than the actual physical asana. And I went to a class a couple days ago, and just being in the class, doing that physical asana, it was another connection with my body and just my mind and my breath that was just way more deep than anything else that I've done physically. So if you're on the edge of like, maybe I should do yoga, I don't know, try it out. And I'd suggest, my buddy told me this when I was first starting yoga, because I'm all in on things like, okay, I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to do 30 days in a row, 2 times a day. And then I don't even do like 3 days.
3 times a day.
3 times a day, then I
an
injure
animal,
myself.
man.
My buddy said, try and go 4 times a week, just 4 times, commit to 4 times a week and see how it goes. And I'm sure you can do 4 times a week, maybe 3, but yeah, start.
Brian, you really influenced me on meditation. So I kind of dabbled with that, initially when I first started, but then I just sort of went by the wayside. But then I started seeing all the different disciplines within yoga that you were kind of practicing and experimenting with. And that's now part of kind of my daily thing. That's the first thing I do when I get up is kind of roll out the mat, fucking light up the Palo Santo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And kind of face to the sun, watch the sunrise, and that's kind of my me time when it's really quiet in the house. And there's no agenda for me. Everybody's meditation could be different, I kind of just sort of allow whatever the first thing that sort of pops into my head, if there's a word or a mantra or a feeling, and I'll kind of just ruminate over it and let that sort of gratitude kind of take hold. And that really does, it sounds kind of hippy dippity shit, but it really does allow me to feel balanced to start my day. And I just, it's not religious based. It's just for me to kind of just soak it all in, that I've got a lot to be grateful for, and I'm grateful that the practice has allowed me to kind of crystallize and not just go through life doing a checklist, running from here to there, but to sort of stop and be present with oneself, and to recognize, those sorts of things that are going on in your heart, and recognize them.
Absolutely. Recognizing, just being aware. And that's why just having brochacho connection. I mean, we're all live in different states, like I learned something from Pedro. I learned something from you, Corey. You learned something from me. It's like, you got this community, and you can have this community worldwide through Instagram or through social media or through your phone or whatever. You can have this connection worldwide to talk about your practice. You don't have to be there physically. Talk about your practice. There's a lot of things in Corey's practice. I mean, I run memes through Pedro and just certain ideas. We all got our strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. Yeah. And Corey, I love what you said about, and I'll hit on yours too, Brian, but Corey, I love what you said about, like, you just kind of let it come to you.
Yes.
You just kind of sit down and just allow it to come to you. And whatever is, you're being present with your breath, being present with the moment, and like whatever turns out from there, if it's some physical movement or if it's some, mantra that you state, or, whatever it is yoga, and some people are so rigid about, like, it has to be this, like X, Y, Z in this order at this time. It doesn't have to always be like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you can allow that shit to go and just let it happen organically, there's some real magic in the present moment there for you, because the other stuff seems a little bit forced. So, yeah, like letting it happen organically.
And when you found a good studio or instructors or people that you practice with, the ones that allow you a little bit of that flexibility and they're not as rigid. And I've been pretty blessed to have a great little group of people at the yoga mat where I go, and they recognize different levels that are in each class. And so there's different cues and, whatnot. It's not the same kind of thing for everybody. And you put into it and you take away what's sort of valuable to you. That's why it's very special. I hear people that have different types of practice, core power, and it doesn't matter. You're getting on a mat and you're kind of having one with yourself, and I say all the power to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go for it.
Exactly, because you don't know what you're gonna get in each class. I mean, what the teacher might say might really resonate for you, and another student might not even hear it, at that time.
Yeah. So
exactly, because you can only hear what you can only like take in the information at the level of awareness that you're at. You know what I mean? So like if you're not vibrating up there as far as like understanding like these in-depth dynamic movements that the teacher may be saying, and you're just hearing like breathe, like maybe you're just hearing breathe because that's all you can do today,
Right.
and the teacher's talking about all this other shit, so it's all good. The yoga is just meeting you where you are. It's like my favorite things to say. I don't know where I ever heard that from, but whoever taught me that, like, thank you, gratitude for that person or that thing that taught me that.
It's funny because you guys have asked me, and a lot of my friends ask me, especially now in the last, I don't know, year, where I've really dialed up my yoga life, like on Instagram, and I've shared, people know that I'm really into it. They ask me, well, when are you going to teach? And the answer is, it's like, I do teach. I do some other stuff, for a university nearby. But this is kind of my me time. And as much as I love kind of helping and, guiding and instructing, this is kind of that time for me to sort of be on my mat and really sort of, kind of be one with myself. And I think that for me at this particular stage where I'm at, I'm not, it's not never say never, but right now I'm just so enjoying kind of being the student. I feel like I'm still back to that lotus flower thing. Haven't fully opened it up and realized the benefits of my practice,
Right.
I feel like I need to go through a few more layers before that is something that I would even consider.
What about, would you consider doing a training just to get more knowledge, depth kind of thing with a teacher that you were really connected? Yeah. Okay. But not to teach, like initially.
No.
But who knows what it evolves to? But yeah. Okay. I was just curious.
I mean, in my head, I know I'd be a kick-ass teacher. I like.
Of course you would.
We've got like, all the instruments and the singing bowls.
Coming out to take your class.
And the adjustments and the essential oils. Yeah. It would be lit.
Yeah, I think you'd be an amazing teacher, and I think, with like for me personally, I never ever thought I would be a yoga instructor, share this practice. Never thought I would. And even taking the teacher training, I went to take the teacher training so I can be a better Instagrammer and make fun of yoga and do yoga challenges. Like, that's why I did it. I remember going to training and I was really like, I wasn't focused.
Joke's on you.
Yeah, right? I wasn't focused on being a teacher. I was not, like, actually teaching in a studio. But
I want to pay $3,000 so that I can make better memes.
right?
Holy shit.
Yeah, and like when I taught my first class, when I was forced to teach the class, I experienced a different practice. I experienced such a deeper level of my practice. And telling someone that has no, like, you can't experience it until you actually do it, until you teach a class and you have that space, you have that energy, and you're leading a class through it and you're sharing what you know. It's just a deeper level of practice. So someday, Corey, you might be a teacher.
Someday, boys, you never know.
Hey, this is Yogi Bryan here with your mid-episode trivia question. I know y'all love trivia, so we're going to give you a trivia question, and at the end of the show, we're going to provide the answer to the trivia question. Now, no looking at your phones, no Googling the answer. We got to stay honest here. We want to know if you know the answer to the trivia question. So here we go. Here is the trivia question. Get ready for it. The trivia question is, which animal has the highest blood pressure? Which animal has the highest blood pressure? We will provide the answer at the end of the show. You better stay tuned. No cheating, y'all. You're yogis, no cheating. And also want to mention that this show is brought to you by Cor Branding. Cor Branding is a marketing plus branding agency with deep experience creating marketing programs that thread the needle. Get it? Thread the needle, your yogis. Thread the needle between retail and social marketing programs. Led by a 30-year consumer packaged goods and beverage expert, the Cor Branding team has innovative consumer marketing programs for both startups and iconic brands. So basically this means for you, if you need a good branding marketer, reach out to Cor Branding. Check out the show notes on theyogishow.com. That's where all the contact, that's where details are, that's where all the show notes are at. Check it out. But you better stay tuned to the end of this episode for your trivia answer. Now back to the show.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
I got to get you
Corey,
back. I got to get you back out to LA so we can.
Yeah, we got to get to LA, man.
Do some more yoga on the beach.
Yeah, we could yoga on the beach, more manifestation at Runyon.
Yeah, little cafe gratitude. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. the grat.
The grat.
Man.
Yeah, fun fact here. Fun fact here. My wife and I got married last February, and we did our honeymoon. We went to Disneyland for a week, and then we went on a cruise. And Corey actually came and met us at Disneyland on our honeymoon.
I went on the honeymoon.
My wife said it was cool. Corey tagged along on our honeymoon.
And they're still married.
It's just like, why are we meeting this dude on our honeymoon? Are you crazy? No, I love Magoo.
Yeah.
That was a really special day hanging out with you guys.
That was awesome.
I remember getting this. I remember getting all the pictures, and I was like, "What the fuck, man!" Like Summer and I need to get out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What's going on?
Summer and I need to crash the honeymoon too. Man. Well, this has been fantastic, man. Thank you, Corey, for like all of your wisdom, all of your insight, man. Let me ask you this, Corey. When you're in a rut, like in a rut, yoga rut. Let's talk about like just that feeling of like most days it's like I can't wait to get on my mat, right? But sometimes you get like shit falls off the rails, and you're like, how do I get back? Like, how do I get back into alignment? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's your go-to? You got a go-to for the listeners, man? Because you're on the mat all the time. Like, what's your go-to if you fall off the wagon?
I don't fall off the wagon, but what I have to do is I got to keep my environment a little bit interesting. I don't want to just be in the same room. So I've branched out outside, whether it's at the beach or the local park. I don't care what people think. I go to where I feel like a good. And it's kind of like I discover like a new practice, over and over. I use my backyard. I'll do it indoors. I go to the studio a lot, but it's a nice variety for me. And I also mix up. I like
that, man.
I also mix up, sometimes it's restorative. Sometimes it's like a kick-ass vinyasa where I walk out a sweaty mess. I just got to keep a little bit of the variety.
Okay, like that.
Which, for me, it keeps it interesting.
Yeah. Have you ever done Bikram yoga, Corey?
Yes, it's too hot. I can't.
Shit's brutal, man.
Shit's brutal. And I draw the line at wearing a Speedo. So.
It's funny. I have it here in front of me. I was gonna bring up reflecting on and just on like not giving a fuck. So when I was I used to teach, obviously you guys know, but just for listeners, for context. So I went to Bikram yoga teacher training, and I taught Bikram for a long time. But I remember like first time walking into like Bikram studio, and there was a dude in a Speedo. First time going to class, and I was like, what? I was in like basketball shorts,
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was like, what? And then fast forward like a year, I'm the dude in the Speedo.
You get to a point where you don't give a fuck,
Because it's too fucking hot.
It's hot. I take off my shirt, and they're just like, okay, there's Corey doing his thing, and it's my time on my mat,
Yeah, man. I had Bikram. I had a Speedo and tiny. I used to call them tiny shorts. I had a lot of pairs of tiny shorts. Man. I had cheetah ones, tiger ones. Maybe we'll put Brian. We'll link a couple pictures in the show notes.
Maybe we'll sell those on the website. You can get your cheetah Speedos,
tiny shorts.
And the three of us can sign it, and then the value on eBay is going to go up.
That'll get dudes to do yoga for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Nobody wants to do that.
Oh shit, man. Oh shit. All right, Corey. Let's fast forward to the hashtag. So we do this thing on the show now called the hashtag Lightenup Round. You haven't heard it yet, Corey, because there's no recordings with it yet. But you're gonna get it, Brian. You ready? You got some questions, Brian? I
love the questions that I saw that you made. Those are fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I was proud.
The hashtag?
I was proud. I was looking at Magoo. Magoo's my wife. Her real name's Sam. We call her Magoo. But we were looking at those questions. I was proud of you.
Yeah,
I was proud of you, Pedro.
Because here's the scoop, guys. Brian is the wild card. Okay, so Brian is the one who comes up with the random shit, So I'm kind of like the structure order. Yes. Brian's the wild card, and that's what makes it flow. You gotta.
You guys work well together.
That's why it happens.
Yeah.
The yin to the yang, you know. So I wrote a couple wild card questions, but Brian's always got some crazy shit up his sleeve or on his sleeve. You know, so okay, Corey. Numero uno. And these are in the Lightenup Round, Corey, no thoughts really. Just like, you know, intuition, gut, just shoot it out like whatever it'd be, you know. So all right, first one. This one's fun. Corey, if Disneyland, because Corey loves Disneyland and so does Brian.
Yes.
Like, you guys are bros over Disneyland. If Disneyland had a yoga studio in it, what would it be called?
I think it's something to do with Pluto's down dog.
There you go. That's amazing. That's so good.
Would it be in California Adventure, Disney World, or Disneyland? Or the studio?
Definitely Disneyland, because that's the traditional characters. They don't cross-pollinate as much over to California Adventure. That's kind of the latter.
Pluto's down dog.
Down
that
dog.
is I'm gonna fucking have a yoga studio
Trademark
in South
that
Florida.
shit.
Yeah, let's trademark that immediately.
Give me another one.
Mine is to infinity and beyond. You know, but I had a little more time to
I
think
have
about it, you know.
I have a logo in my head.
All right.
Corey thinks in logos. That's he's a marketer. He just everything's a logo to Corey.
Yes. All right, Brian, you go.
All right, this is a wild card question, and it just came up because Hurricane Karen made landfall today. Who would make a better yoga teacher, a tornado or a hurricane? Better yoga teacher, like that would pack the classes. He'd write a book. Like, who would make a better yoga teacher?
Tornado or a hurricane?
Tornado or hurricane?
Tornado or hurricane? I would say tornado.
Boom.
Because that thing fucking like sweep it all up.
Yeah, you can't plan for the tornado. You can plan for Karen.
Yeah.
You can't plan for the tornado.
That tornado would have a million followers too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Dude, that was the most random fucking question. I love it.
Wild card, man. Wild card. No, Pedro and I talked about it. We're like, hey, you're the lead. Like, you're gonna lead this motherfucker, and I will throw the wild card shit in.
I need to drop
wild card.
I might have to.
Pluto's down dog. You guys can approach
Pluto
me on that.
I wrote it down. I wrote it down. Pluto's down dog. Corey, who reaches enlightenment first? Daisy Duck or Donald Duck?
Definitely Daisy Duck. I think women are much more
smart answer.
In tune than men are.
Oh, but
Duck.
I like it, Brian. You know, we used to have on the Yogi Show live. We used to have music. Brian, we need to have can we put music into audio clips of fake clapping audiences?
I'll do that.
Shit?
Oh my god, great idea! It was fucking.
Write that shit down.
Yes, I'm gonna add that. You're probably hearing clapping, fake laughing.
I want
now.
the big cheer.
Yeah, they're hearing clapping right now. Oh my gosh, this is great. Okay, Brian, go.
Let's see here. How many tacos? If you, this is not a yoga question.
You had me a taco.
This is wild card
This
as fuck.
is not a yoga question, and so for $1 million, how many tacos would you be willing to eat? How many? Like, realistically, think about it. In an hour, you had a time limit.
In an hour, probably. Well, I'm trying to think how many you could do in a minute.
Corey's thinking about logos right now. Taco logos.
He's looking at taco logos.
Taco logos.
He's trying to brand this right now, ladies and gentlemen.
50. I don't know.
50. That's a lot of tacos.
That's a lot of fucking
I think
tacos.
you could do it.
But if they're like street tacos and they're small little bad boys, it might be achievable, boys.
Shit, man. Shit. He's thinking about putting 50 tacos on a logo right now.
That's good.
Corey, where are the best tacos in Los Angeles?
Best tacos. I don't know.
In LA.
LA, I don't know about because
Or Orange County. Okay, Orange County.
Yeah. There's a little hole in the wall down the street called Bobby D's, and it's just authentic. And we go.
Bobby D's.
Yeah, we go there a lot, and they know my order when I walk in.
Of course they do.
And yeah, that's kind of our family thing, and it's especially when my kid comes home for college. It's usually the first things that we'll hit up as a family. Go to
Bobby D's.
Bobby D's.
So I love it. There was a okay, hold on one second. Pause on Bobby D. So when I was I don't know, 14 or 15 or something, there was a CD called Bobby D 6 2/3, and it was a rave CD. If anybody knows what that is, it was the best fucking CD ever. And like, I can't find it anywhere. You can't find it online. I have no idea who the DJ actually is, but I listened to that thing over like fucking 10,000 times.
You got to put a reward out. I mean, like, is there?
And it might be that Bobby D might be at the taco place. Like, it might be his taco, and he's a raver.
Is there? You got to incentivize consumers. Is there a Namaste merch giveaway for the person that finds it?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, we'll do that.
There you go. That drives people to your website to order shit.
If anybody can find Bobby D 6 2/3 and like the album and where to stream it, please send it to me, and we will send you some merch.
Yeah, so Corey is a marketing guru. He's a marketing guru, ladies and gentlemen. Like, Corey, what's some marketing advice for yogis out there? Just what's some marketing advice?
Sage advice.
Sage advice.
Sage advice.
Like one thing, like the one thing you preach.
You mean like starting their own business kind of thing?
Sure. Because you're killing it.
I think you have to provide more value than just pictures of poses. If you're truly into like wellness and value added, why do I want to follow you? What am I going to get? What's going to inspire me? So people that want to kind of grow themselves as a brand, you have to be a little bit more deep. And look, I love, the fluffy photos and stuff that I'll post, but it's meaningful to me because it makes me feel good in that moment. But I'm not trying to grow myself as a brand, but for the yogis out there that are looking for endorsement deals and all of that, you got to be more than just kind of the poses. There has to be something else that you bring to the table. That's why I love your guests, the yoga couple, and some of the stuff that, I discovered them from from you guys, and they've written some books, and they've got a lot of interesting shit. That's how you grow a brand authentically and organically, because there's something of value that those two really have. And they're honest and they're genuine and they're sharing their story, which is uncomfortable, but it's fascinating. And I applaud people like that, because that's how you do it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know, from like my research and like what I'm looking how to help people, it's like, whatever like your story is, whatever your story is, or whatever you're really working on, and whatever yoga is really bringing to you, like fucking share that, teach that, because other people are probably working on that too. Like for me, it's just fucking yoga. Like that's not gonna affect certain people are gonna hate it. I mean, I do get some hate with that, but it's like, but you got your tribe.
Yeah.
You got your tribe.
Karen Jacobs is pissed.
I get a lot of hate with that, but it's that's like my truth. And if you're sharing deep stuff,
but you know what? You have a strategy, and so the technical marketing answer to your question is, what's the strategy that I have to either grow a brand or to do anything in life? You got to have a strategy. What I share with my clients and brands: don't just race to the shiny object, which is the tactic. Don't just think that you're going to get on social media and all of a sudden your brand's going to blow up overnight. What is the strategy? Are you trying to drive awareness of your brand? Are you trying to drive trial, meaning people to purchase your product? Like, you got to understand what it is what's your goal and what your strategy is, and then you figure out how you can go ahead and do that.
Right. Create the roadmap.
Exactly.
And I think about that too. Like when Brian, you were saying about like sharing authentic messages, just like you, Corey, both of you guys, authentic messages, and Brian really saying you're sharing your personal story, because that's what a lot of people will relate to. I think the same way. It's like whatever you're going through, like share it. if it's something if that's what you're looking to do, and like your brand is based around you, like Yoga with Pedro is my brand, shameless plug for myself. When I put content onto my Instagram or into my local classes and whatever, I'm sharing the messages that are resonating with me, because that's what's important. Like that is where the yoga, if someone connects with that, they're going to want to experience more of it. So you have to share authentic messages that are giving value.
Yes.
And that's what you guys have made clear. And I think this is a huge, huge takeaway all the way at the end of this episode is like sharing your authentic message, adding the value, not just a pretty picture. Yes, those are beautiful, but that's not, likes and follows does not equal admiration and dollars.
Right.
Doesn't happen, so it doesn't how it works if you're building a personal brand, like survival. Like I got to pay for food. I got 3 kids, man.
Exactly.
A lot of fucking food here.
But I think about Brian's story where he's kind of a manly man dude that played golf.
Right.
Was
Big beard.
very much, this sort of macho-y guy. And the fact that he kind of, on a lark sort of poked fun at yoga, but then really discovered sort of his truth. So there's an authentic, really sort of unique story there. And back to your question a while ago about how do we kind of get more dudes sort of involved?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, what you have has the ability to translate to other sort of dudes out there that they think that yoga is either effeminate or they're embarrassed like I was because you couldn't fucking touch your toes. Like whatever those connections are to inspire people, both of you guys, you continue to keep doing what you're doing because it is providing value.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you,
The
Corey.
3 of us are, friends on the daily. I mean, that's like one of the biggest benefits of my practice. I wouldn't have discovered you guys,
Right?
hooligans, if had I not started trolling the Instagram and
I know.
fell in love with your guys' stuff.
Oh man, thanks a lot.
It's like
Corey.
a natural progression. Just anyone out there, if you change your vibration, if you change your intention, the universe is going to find it for you. The relationships are going to find you. If you change your intention, you change the vibration. Like if I didn't change my intention, change my vibration, I wouldn't have found Pedro. I wouldn't have found Corey. I wouldn't have found this amazing yoga community.
Yeah, no way.
And then it's just, and also like after hearing Pedro, you talk Pedro and then Corey, one thing, especially in yoga, when you learn yourself and me being competitive, like I used to play competitive golf, and golf is like an individual sport. So you want to beat the fuck out of everyone else. There's no team. I was terrible at team sports. I tried to play my high school golf team, and I was absolutely horrendous on my high school golf team because I wanted to fucking destroy everybody. And that was just my mentality. So, but coming into yoga, I had to really stop being competitive. And it was only until recently, doing a meditation practice is like, I'm not fucking competing with anybody else. Like in terms of likes or followers or, what pose I can do. I'm not competing with any fucking buddy else. It's just me. Nope. Like it's me getting better myself, and it's like,
well said.
Like even with like this podcast, this friendship, this brochacho-ness, it's like I've accepted Pedro is just fucking better at leading a podcast. I've accepted you're the fucking marketer, I'm the wild card. Like you got to accept your fucking strengths and weaknesses and harness those strengths,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you do, man.
The quiet wild card is usually one that brings out those jewels.
Yeah.
Don't
right.
Discount yourself, my friend.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's just focusing on your strengths. And it's like, Corey, you said like the yoga couple, and anyone out there, it's like if you're not in a relationship, like you don't have to be the yoga couple. You can take what they're providing, and then harness what you're doing. I don't know if I'm explaining this like correctly, but it's like, don't try and be someone else. Like try and be your fucking genuine self. Like you don't have to be the yoga couple. You don't have to be Brian Kess. You don't have to be Pedro. You don't have to be Corey. You be your fucking self. And that's a great fucking story on its own.
But what I loved about the yoga couple is, first of all, they're both beautiful.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And what's interesting is if you kind of pull back the veneer, they're like everybody else. They have like raw feelings and they're trying to figure shit out as well. And yoga has allowed them to, get to that space and speak their truth. And for that, that's, it's amazing. Like all of your guests have, each week you guys provide incredible value because you're bringing these sources of knowledge and wisdom, and they're just like these pearls and nuggets. And I was pretty stoked to hear my yoga teacher had discovered you guys, and she was listening to it as well, and she's sharing it. And so it's like, tell a friend. I mean, I want you guys just to blow up, because what you're doing, man, it's providing value.
Oh, it's happening, man. It's definitely happening. When I made a meme, my first meme ever, I had 0 followers. 0. Now I have like 140,000. So, it just takes time, integrity, and patience. And that's the one thing that I would leave everybody with on this show. And I think that they've gained from this episode is that put in the work, get into alignment, and just do yoga, and everything else will take care of itself. The main thing is to get out of your own way.
Yes.
Don't let yourself talk. Don't talk yourself out of things that you can't do, you shouldn't do, risks you should take. Just allow yourself the opportunity to practice yoga, to feel good, to get clear, and then move forward from there. And whatever it is that you're doing in life, with your family, with your relationships, with your job, with yourself. You know what I mean?
And buckle the fuck up, because your life is about to change.
It's about to change. It's about to change.
I'm telling you.
It's about to change. Guys, so before we sign off here in a minute, I was at Full Moon Beach Yoga teaching like a week or two or a month ago, something like that.
Everybody
and
cried.
This guy... No. Well, people were crying, but this gentleman came up to me and he started telling me, he's like, I just started discovering yoga and this meditation, and like I'm like starting to really get into it, and all I could think about, and I'm thinking about you guys, and in my head I'm like, this motherfucker is about to go down the rabbit hole. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know. Yeah. Oh my God. And he was awesome. He was the coolest dude, man. He doesn't even know about the door, the trap door that's opening that he's going to go down and discover. And so if you're on the ride down right now into the rabbit hole, you're on your journey to discovery, and sometimes it's a little bit uncomfortable, I would encourage you to embrace the little discomfort that you're experiencing in this moment.
Fall. I love your little meme with Alice going down the hole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And embrace the discomfort as you're going down the hole, as you're looking to create that change, not only in your physical body maybe, but in your mental state, in your relationships, in your emotions. Embrace the discomfort and change, because on the other side is all the magic. It's that point where it's most uncomfortable. Right when you get past that, as you breathe into it, the door opens and all of the abundance, all of the new shit starts unfolding. Just embrace it. You got this, my friends.
Love it, dude.
You guys are amazing, bro.
Thank you guys so much for allowing me to be part of your life, and also to be part of the vision that you guys have created. It's true. It's a blessing.
Thank you, man. It's just going to get better and better and better and better and better.
Yes,
that's it.
Yeah. It's just
life is good, and it's only getting better.
Gratitude.
We're
all into gratitude.
Yeah. All about the gratitude.
All right,
gentlemen, we're going to sign off on this episode of The Yogi Show. Please check back the theyogishow.com for all the links, all the stuff. Check out the outro from Mr. Karen Jacobs. He's going to drop on you guys, and we're grateful to be here. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you so much, Corey. Karen signing off. Thank you so much for listening to the Yogi Show podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you. Please subscribe to the podcast. Tell your friends. Go visit theyogishow.com. We provide all the show notes for you, all the links that we talked about today. Thank you, Corey Saenz, for being on the show today. Thank you, DJ Taz Rashid, for providing the music on the Yogi Show today. DJ Taz Rashid makes some awesome music for those yoga class playlists. You better check him out. And I know you need the trivia answer for the mid-episode trivia. So the question was, which animal has the highest blood pressure? Which animal has the highest blood pressure? And the answer is a giraffe. A giraffe has the highest blood pressure. What? I can't even talk. Blood pressure. The giraffe has the highest blood pressure. So instead of goat yoga, maybe there needs to be giraffe yoga, because giraffes need to kind of chill it down, right? I don't know. I'm not a zoologist. I just do this podcast and I'm a yoga instructor. What do I know? But thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week. And remember, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Namaste.